Hey friends, this is Eric the Mind Control Guy. Getting ready to take off on my run. I wanted to make this video real quick. Uh, being that it's getting more and more obvious where they're not hiding it anymore, and the admissions of such devices such as HAARP, High Altitude Aurora Research Project, they may have changed the name to High Altitude Aurora Active Research Project. I don't know. They're always playing games with their names and everything. But all these hurricanes that are been generated up. Hurricane Helene just devastated the Appalachians, North Carolina. Hurricane Milton's getting ready to bulldoze Florida. Now they got another one coming in, Hurricane Nadine. And I think there was another one, Hurricane Kirk. Who knows how many others. Really wanting to depopulate the country. They want to depopulate the world. Right now they want to depopulate this country. Well, it made me think about something that I try not to think about, because I was involved in that project when I was a young soldier in the service. And for those of you who watch Awake Nation, that at one time was called the Dark Outpost, I was on Dark Outpost from August of 2022 back to about January or so of 2023, when I left the show because I couldn't deal with the flashbacks anymore. But anyway, there was a project years ago when I was a young soldier in the service. It was called Project Zombie, and it was done over in the Philippines, just like the original movie Day of the Dead, where you had that creepy doctor that was trying to communicate with reanimators. Well, that actually happened, and the name of the doctor that ran that project was Dr. Winkelman was his name. Well, anyway, all these hurricanes have been barreling down on parts of the East Coast, and now Florida, the Gulf, and all that. Bulldozing down, eliminating populations. I mean, wars, they only kill so many. Wars are expensive. The pandemic that happened, that killed quite a few people. Well, now they're trying to do weather disasters. They're using hurricanes right now. It's only a matter of time before they start using F5, F6 tornadoes. For those of you who say, oh, F6 don't exist, yeah, one hit down in Oklahoma City in 1999. An F5 tornado, the base is a mile wide. That F6 was a mile and a half wide. And there's nothing to say that they can't use HAARP or other geoengineering devices to create bigger ones than that. Like strategically surround a particular city with, say, 8 F5 tornadoes or bigger. Let's just say F5. One coming in from the east, one from the north, one from the south, one from the west. And then all the corners come together, create a super monster tornado. Maybe one that, according to all their physics, ain't even possible, but yet it happens. Let's just call it F12. 8 F5s come together, creating a monster. Let's just call it F12. Let's just say the base ends up being 10 miles wide, 600 miles an hour. Goes for a few hundred miles. Think of the devastation. Ungodly lightning strikes. Areas where they create droughts. Droughts have been around for as long as anybody can remember. Strategically hit these areas with ungodly lightning strikes, just like old Marty Robbins talked about in Western Prairie Fire. Have these fires just roar through. and steps are taken to make sure the firefighters can't get to them. Kind of like FEMA's doing in North Carolina right now, diverting rescues, diverting supplies, all that stuff that the locals are reporting. And wasn't for the age of modern day electronics, communication, social media, the rest of us would never even know about it because the mainstream media is running block. But anyway, I got to thinking about something. You know, for over 50 years, we've been saturated with movies about reanimatids. Some call them zombies. Flesh-eating monsters that used to be human. And we were saturated with these movies for a long time. And then they had the series World War Z, The Walking Dead. People talk about the zombie apocalypse. And now I'm thinking, with all these generated hurricanes, and if they do what I said before, tornadoes, lightning strikes, and even earthquakes, ginormous seismic sea waves bulldozing down the coastal lines, do what the hurricanes couldn't do. All this devastation, all these, now people are still alive, homeless refugees. What's to say that they wouldn't do a flyover and completely airborne the area with spray? Now, we see the chemtrails, we know what they do. But what happens if they do a flyover all these areas with a vapor that's from the drug called Flocka? That's right, the zombie drug. What happens when they turn all survivors and other people that even weren't hit into flesh-eating monsters, just like has been shown in those various movies? Now, I was in that project. I remember a little bit, but I don't remember all of it and don't want to. But I know it's real. This is what they do in those ultra-secret projects that they don't even want people to know what goes on. Only so many people are even allowed to know what goes on. And they saturate people with these videos and images and movies and targets at the gun store, Walmart, Rural King. Instead of the bad guys, it was flesh-eating monsters that used to be human beings. And what's to say they won't do that after all this devastation? Do a flyover, and people suck in that air that's laced with something like Flocka or something else that we haven't heard of yet, and turns people into flesh-eating monsters to eat the living. And they already have their contingency plan. It was shown in the movie Return of the Living Dead, the original. They have a contingency plan. The only way they could really justify eradicating people that used to be human beings would be something like that. Turn everyday human beings into flesh-eating monsters. Zombies. In the book Year 50, written by Jeff Blusky, they called them puppets. That was a whole different thing. It was a virus that came from the outer reaches off-world. And this virus turned people into what they call puppets, we would call zombies. Flesh-eating monsters. They want to eradicate the population of this country. They want to eradicate the population of the planet. Right now, they're doing it with geo-engineered weather disasters like hurricanes. Wars get to be too expensive and bloody and emotional. They decide, okay, we're done with wars. Pandemic, viruses. People are catching on. Now it's geo-engineered weather disasters. We've seen the hurricanes. They're still coming. here in October of 2024. Mark my words. Next thing is going to be tornadoes, lightning strikes, and earthquakes. And the last one, they're going to release the zombie virus, turning the rest of the population into flesh-eating monsters to feed on those that weren't affected. And then come in with their contingency plan and completely eradicate them. Vaporize them, however you want to say it, however you want to do it, however they plan on doing it. And then when the population is down to damn near zero, I'm sure they're going to have a huge cleanup crew, which is going to take years. Bulldoze down whatever's left, salvage whatever's left, replant the forests and all that. Who knows? But I think that's going to be their last-ditch effort after this particular page of the project to eradicate humanity, after the geoengineered weather disasters. I'm convinced now that that's going to be their last-ditch effort, the final phase to eradicate the population of this country and eventually the population of the planet. After the weather disasters, when everything is destroyed and people have nothing except the clothes on their back, the next thing is to unleash the zombie virus and turn the remaining people into flesh-eating monsters and then just vaporize them. Be done. I believe we're seeing the beginning of the end. Be vigilant, friends. Eric the Mind Control Guy, signing off.